Hey all, 2 weeks ago I made a video suggesting my changes for Michael Myers in Dead by Daylight, and I noticed a common theme popping up a lot, that being the amount of time it took Behavior to change Michael Myers. Nearly a whole decade. Behavior, of course, announced that they're changing Myers in the not-so-distant future, so why now? Let's get into that. Michael Myers is an incredibly popular killer in Dead by Daylight, consistently ranking amongst the top 10 of the most popular killers. Just this past January, he was ranked 7th place out of the 34 killers in the game at the time, which is incredible. This character has barely been changed at all within 8 years, and yet he's still beating out all these other killers. I'm sure a lot of you are thinking, well, if he's so popular, shouldn't that be more incentive to change the character? It actually works quite the opposite way. Since Myers is so popular, it makes sense for Behavior to work on killers that people aren't playing as much to help bring up variety. If they were to change Myers, buffing him in some way could result in a Myers apocalypse, which I'm totally cool with, but I'm sure there are some people that might not be. Of course, Myers being so popular isn't entirely because of his strength. We all know who Michael Myers is. He's one of the most iconic horror characters of all time. So of course, that's going to draw a lot of people in. Not only that, but his power already is pretty great at capturing the spirit of the character, unlike Freddy Krueger, who is at whopping 1%, putting him at the bottom of the totem pole. The Freddy Krueger, which is why he is en route for his second rework. I cannot stress how important it is that a character should feel like their namesake when it comes to making a licensed character popular. Strength is not everything. This becomes more clear when we look at the deadliest killers, which, hey, looky here, Myers is here, and so is Freddy. Freddy being within the top 5, and this is all MMR. This begins to paint a bigger picture. Freddy is taking down more people than Myers, yet is picked far less. Some would argue, well, at top MMR, these characters don't perform as well. That doesn't really matter to Behavior. The majority of their player base is nowhere near the top MMR. It's very important for them that the individuals within the lower ranks are not completely stomped all the time. We know this because, once again, our dear friend Freddy Krueger, we're going to have to go back in time for a moment to the Nightmare release date in October of 2017. Freddy had come out and the consensus was out. This guy stinks. His power was putting people to sleep, then having to wait 7 seconds before being able to hit them. He was able to see the auras of all survivors out of his terror radius, and survivors couldn't see Freddy unless in the dream world, and in the dream world they would see him intermittently. He was not very good. Well, he was terrible in most ranks, except for the lower ranks. He was an absolute demon in lower ranks. So much so that Behavior panicked and slammed the nerf button the very next patch. And not just like one nerf either, he had a list. And that was all, despite being considered to be one of, if not the weakest killer amongst higher ranks. Michael has never had this issue though. He's always been incredibly easy to understand from both sides and has always felt true to his character, which resulted in the player experience on both sides being more pleasant, since even lower players were able to understand how Mikey works. Just don't let the guy look at you. But Freddy's for lower players was so much more confusing because you couldn't really see the guy a lot. Freddy, they couldn't understand that their auras were being seen, and they didn't know that it was super easy to break out of the Nightmare mode, that all you had to do was fail just about any sort of skill check and he couldn't touch you. They didn't just get how to beat him. It was just less intuitive as to play against the character. And Mikey's kill rate was already around that 50%, and it's always been around the 50-60% range, which is exactly where Behavior wants the killer statistics to be. And on top of being exactly where they wanted a killer to be statistically, he's been able to maintain this popularity. Why would they have any incentive to touch him at all? Most people love this killer on both sides. It makes sense why Behavior would rather change Sadako twice, or even the recent buffs to Bubba, which nobody was really crying out for, yet they were done anyways. He was just lowered kill rate wise and pick rate wise. Behavior definitely doesn't want another Freddy Krueger incident. Buffing Myers and then accidentally not only creating a Myers surplus, but also having these Michaels killing everybody, that would create riots on Twitter. There is one aspect of the character I'm very shocked has taken this long to change, though, that wouldn't put Myers a little higher on the totem pole for changes. That being his Tombstone add-ons. These add-ons have been complained about for ages. If you aren't familiar with how they work, it takes Myers longer to get to tier 3, but once he does, he can straight up kill a survivor. It's just odd that the only real change they've gotten is actually getting buffed. Judith's Tombstone had its movement speed penalties taken from tier 1 and tier 2, buffing it to one of his better add-ons when he already had an amazing Tombstone add-on already. I believe I have cracked the code, though, as to why they decided to leave it the way they did for so long. This being the Evil Incarnate trophy. The trophy requires to kill all 4 survivors with the Tombstone. If behavior were to take the Mori functionality from Myers, they'd have to either A, change how to get this trophy, or B, add a different method for Myers to Mori individuals. The first option is a bit of a tricky one because Myers doesn't really have much he can do for his power that would count for a trophy. It's not like Freddy where they could just do something like teleport to 5 gens and slap snares down. Boom. Myers has one thing base kit wise that he sort of obtains, and that's tier ups through stalking. And this already has a trophy, so behavior's hands are a bit tied in this regard. So why not the latter? Why not give Myers a different way to Mori? One that could incentivize more hooking, similar to what I mentioned in my Myers changes video. If you didn't watch the video, my idea goes as follows. A survivor that is stalked fully would be able to get Mori'd on Death Hook. This means that not only would they be punished for fully allowing Myers to stare them down, but would also have to be downed once again in a chase. They could have survivors do benevolent actions to gain some evil back as well, co-op with survivors on gen healing, saving people on Hook, that sort of thing. But once again, that brings us back to the beginning. Why would behavior change Myers when there are killers that are struggling so much? Myers, from behavior's point of view, isn't struggling. His kill rate is fine and his pick rate is fine. Everything's great. Even with the Tombstone, his kill rate isn't extremely high. Why would they change him now? The cracks in Michael's age are showing more and more as time is going on. If Myers does his job too well, he can be stripped of his power and become a normal M1 killer with a smaller terror radius, which doesn't feel great. He has the ability to instantly kill survivors with certain add-ons, which just screams early Dead by Daylight design. Brand new parts, being able to instantly do gens, mooring people on first hook, and etc. Behavior has just had higher priorities in making lesser pick killers and attempting to boost them up, and for them to change Myers in a way that would make sense to them, they have to pop open the hood a little and tweak things around. They don't want to do simple number changes for Myers because he's already doing fine stat-wise. You don't want him murdering absolutely everyone in the lower ranks. Making Stalk unlimited would absolutely shatter the lower ranks, but also make him a lot more effective in the higher ranks, since Mikey could just keep stalking one individual that obviously doesn't know how to play the game and using it to cut down the better players. That's why Myers has the stalk limit. I guarantee Mikey would go further in his kill rate when he's already pretty high up there, which is why I believe that the Myers changes we're getting aren't going to be insane buffs or anything like that. I think we're going to get a little mechanic tweak, and Tombstone is definitely getting changed in some way. That's not to say Myers won't be getting any buffs at all. I'm sure he'll get the small ones, just nothing too drastic. But that's just what I think. If you have anything you think I missed, please let me know in the comments below, and also let me know if you'd like to see more videos like this. You guys have been very supportive of this new discussion type content, which makes me very happy. They're really fun to talk about. I love talking about this stuff. Please do drop a like if you'd like to see more of this type of stuff. It helps me out a lot. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Take care.